Hey guys, today we're going to do a shave with the bullet tip that we used yesterday, the same blade, and I just picked another brush. This is the B9A. I've put a lot of uses on lately. Declaration Grooming, and Williams mug soap. And this is a vintage Old Spice mug, the milk glass type, and the Williams is down in there. And as you can see, it's dry. So I did not soak it this time. So we'll see if my theory works. To see if I can get Williams to kind of work more like a normal soap instead of being so picky. I've got some videos out that show me working Williams and it just takes so long. And I think that Williams can be treated a little bit more like Mystic Water, where you kind of load it like a normal soap, but then you don't push a lot of water into it in terms of the brush that you bring to it, in terms of as you're mixing it up at first in the bowl. Let's try that and see what happens. All right, get my face wet. No, let's get this blade in the razor. And it is going to be on its 6th shave. And this is a gem PTFE blade. The gem bullet tip is a vintage razor, and the blade sits in there very easy. 2 posts here in the corner to make sure it's lined up properly. And notice that this face plate here, it's all flat. The clog proof I used recently had some different bevels. Well, this one's all flat, and so that actually gave me some drag yesterday when I was using a Nobble Otter soap. And I'm curious, and I chose Williams specifically for this purpose. It doesn't have moisturizers and butters and things like that that Nobble Otter and Declaration Grooming and Barrister and Man and all those guys have. He's just a pure kind of soap, and I'm curious, will I experience the same drag with this razor with a different kind of lather? So that's why we're using it again. I'm going to try a slight variation. I am going to come at it with a little bit more water in the brush than I usually do. I did a little bit of a shakeout, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the mixing like this for about 10 seconds, very wet. Okay, then I'm going to tilt it over on its side to where the wettest stuff can just kind of fall out. Okay, that's 10 seconds there. Now let's do another 10, because we don't want to start out with a lot of water, is my theory. And there we go. Let's just see how that works out. See if it'll be enough lather. We'll see. And just like Mystic Water, what I want to do here is work the lather until it looks kind of normal and consistent. It's not very wet right now, so that may not take very long at all. And then, it doesn't look like a lot. This will be an interesting experiment. Maybe it will fail. Who knows? I'm going to start out because everything looks good right now in terms of it doesn't look too wet. So I'm just going to add half a teaspoon of water and work that in. Now, yesterday when I was shaving with this bullet tip, I felt that drag. I felt that flat surface dragging on my skin. It was harder to control because of the drag. I had to use more force. And so what I did was the blade angle was very small, as you might expect with that flat part of the razor being so close to my skin. Another half teaspoon. And what I did was I opened up the blade angle a little bit, which means bringing the handle a little bit closer to my skin. Let me tilt you down so you can watch the lather happen. It's coming together. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a teaspoon at a time now that I've kind of got it started. So I brought that handle in a little bit closer to my face, which opened up the blade angle a little bit, and it kept that flat place from dragging on my skin. I did it just enough to help with the dragging problem, and then I got a good shave. So it'll be interesting to see how. Oh, see, look at it. This is not a difficult lather. Williams doesn't have to be difficult. You just have to add water slowly. And I took away water in the beginning during the loading process by turning it sideways so that the water helped me to get started with the soap. But then I got rid of a lot of the drippiest stuff when it was sideways. This may be a really easy Williams method here, right? My other method took a lot of work for the lather. You just had to go at the lather for a long time to gradually work that water into the soap and create the creamy lather. But this is more simple, more straightforward. Just add water slowly. Don't come at it with a really wet brush right away. At least not once you go to mix it in the bowl. You can come at it with a wet brush in the mug, but just let that water drain out. Oh yeah, look at this, is plenty of lather. Nice. Now I did a test run a while back, and I need not to overwater it. This is nice. I'm going to work it a little bit more. Williams is a wonderfully slick lather. If it dissipates, you haven't loaded enough soap, or you haven't given it enough water. A lot of people claim that Williams dissipates. I guess what I have to say about Williams is it's easy to get wrong, because a lot of people like to come at it with a really wet brush. Because other soaps you can do that with. I mean, look at this lather. There's nothing wrong with this at all. And you've seen what I did. It's not complicated. Let's just make sure we have a good mix, and I think we'll go with this right here. 3½ teaspoons of water, 30 seconds of loading with a medium wet brush, then kind of letting the excess water pour off during the loading process. Let's see what this lather does. This is a little bit more firm than I often take my lathers. You see how those tips are not moving at all? There are those ridges. Let's just try it out and see what happens. Okay, I rinsed my face. See what kind of lather this turns into. Normal one-day growth. I did not pre-wash, and so I do have oils and things like that on my face, but for There's one thing Williams is good at is killing those oils, because it's more of a pure soap than some of the shaving creams and croaks out there. Add a little bit of water to it. Lather probably still needs some more water, but let's just see how it works. You see how the lather kind of started to really increase in volume after I started adding that water, because it needed it. Working it into my skin too, because we need protection from that with the slickness and stuff. If you live in the South, I have found Williams often can be purchased at Ingles grocery stores, about $1.20, $1.30. I've also seen it in a Wegmans store, which I believe is from the north. I think. All right. Here we go. Bullet tip, 6th shave on this gem PTFE blade. It's important to use the PTFE blades. There are a few different choices out there. Everybody agrees that the PTFE are the best ones. I mean, pretty much everybody. All right, we'll stick with the grain, and we'll try to put this flat plane here on my skin. No, it's pretty much the same amount of drag. Well, good to know. So I'm going to do like I did yesterday and open the blade angle up just a little bit. Just enough to where it doesn't drag like that. And if I err, I'm going to err on the side of being too small with the blade angle, because that way either I will cut it perfectly, or if I do it too flat, then it won't cut at all, which means no irritation. Very good. All right. Rinse. All right, I added another half teaspoon to the bowl here. Look at that, tons of lather. So that 30 seconds Probably could be reduced a little bit. Oh yeah, this is a better lather. And cross grain now. Again, continuing to pay attention to my angle. Trying to keep the blade close to the skin. You know, the back side of the blade here, a small blade and skin angle. Very comfortable. On that first pass, I did feel that I should be careful. That's the easy part. And because this is more flat, this area between the Adam's apple and the chin is more flat, and so it's easier to do that. Now here it starts to get a little bit more curved, and so that concave shape can sometimes earn you a little bit of irritation if you are using a razor that's kind of at your limit in terms of aggression. All right, that went by pretty easy. And let's put that third pass on. Getting rid of the excess water. I felt the razor skip a little bit. And sometimes that is an indicator that you have a lather that's a little too wet. Of course, it could have been the friction due to that large amount of metal touching my skin, you know. All right, third pass. And there are some little stray hairs down here. I'm going to try to get those very carefully, kind of off the beaten path hairs. I'm going to take a little bit of lather since I'm doing my neck area here. I'm going to add a little bit more right here so that I can change it up and come at it from this direction. It's not super smooth. I can feel it kind of pushing against the hairs. But often I'll get at the end of the shave and this will look very nice. So hopefully that's what happens today. Now this lather I have from Williams right now is not as slick as I've gotten it. I have gotten it creamier. But it's still, and this is modern Williams, it's not the vintage. Huh. Feels strange. Huh. Did I make it too wet? I don't know. think I did a pretty good job of remembering to keep the head at the correct angle. I think it feels nice and close. Let's pause you, check it out, get a good rinse. Yep, that's a very close shave. Very happy with the closeness. As I was rinsing with the kind of cool water, room temperature water, I did pick up a few areas. It'll act as a diagnostic tool, especially cold water, kind of like the alum does. And it'll tell you of a few little spots, you know. So alum's not the only thing that behaves that way. While I've got a little bit of moisture here, L&L Grooming, Southern Paradise liniment, and this is good stuff. Smells like sweet tea. Good. Got the good. So this, I've gotten better lathers from Williams, but this one was easy and convenient. And it didn't take too long to do, relatively speaking. Nice. There we go. We used up 4.5 teaspoons of water, 30 seconds of loading with the medium wet brush, and we have another 2 passes or so. Do you see how this is more elastic than what I started out with? Added more water to it. Happy with the brush. It started out a little stiff because it didn't get a lot of soak time, but after that first pass it was behaving much more kindly and soft and more luxurious in terms of the backbone and that sort of thing. So, well done. Well done. So my theory about Williams there worked out well. I'd probably back it off to 25 seconds next time and see how that does. But I think we're pretty darn close. It was an easy procedure. Like I said, I just had a medium wet brush. I didn't shake it out as much as I usually do. And then I did 10 seconds with it this way to let the water that's in the brush work into the soap a little bit since it was dry. And then I turned it sideways and kept working it for 20 more seconds, so 30-second total. And then this also gave it a chance for for me not to take a really wet brush with the suds into the bowl, because as I was working it, it let the wet stuff, the really wet stuff, drain out. And so that might be my recommended way of doing Williams from here on out, because it's simple, pretty easy to follow. You might even be able to come at it with a really wet brush and hold it on the side the whole time. Keep it really simple. That might work just as well. All right. Excellent. I'm going to put stuff away. So I believe the next time you see me with this blade, it's still going well. This was the 6th use. I'll have the Saber from Blackland. I really like the way it works with this blade. I may do a double edge between now and then. I've got that Gibbs I want to shave with. Really curious about that. We'll see. Yeah. I have to be careful with these single edges. Even this one. I definitely have to be careful with that clog proof. This one's more mild. This one I could use every day if I wanted. I'm sure I'd get better at the technique, so it wasn't quite as much work, but that's just what practice does for you, right? It still requires care with this one, but That's because it's really riding that line between cutting so well and comfort, and so I am ending up with these wonderfully close shaves. So these types of gem razors are really cheap on eBay if you have access to that. To try those out, make sure you get the gem PTFE blades though. I don't know the best place to get those. I don't know if Amazon or Maggard or eBay is definitely going to have some. If you look for a trusted seller, somebody who's got a lot of good reviews, often you can get them good there. Get blades there, maybe the PTFEs as well. So I'll try to find out a good place to get them. But there we go. And oh man, I'm enjoying this scent of the tea, the sweet tea, with a little hint of lemon from this Southern Paradise. So very cool. I want to use up the liniment before it goes bad, so that's another reason I'm starting to whip that out lately. I think we're good. It's a good shave. Close, very close. I'm not experiencing any irritation right now. I don't even know that there was any irritation for the liniment to have to cure. I know there was a little tenderness just in my neck area, like I often have, and it apparently fixed that up nicely. So happy camper. You guys, take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I sure hope that there's been something in this video to help you out on your shaving journey.